Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel, or if it's your first time, welcome especially. I'm Sally, and today we have a very special guest. This is my wonderful, magnificent husband, Samuel, and given that our 1-year anniversary is coming up literally this Sunday, it's May 29th, which is insane to me, and that we're going to be working on a few fun video projects together over the summer, I thought it was only fitting that he get an official introduction. So here we are. I compiled kind of a list of questions from a few different like husband tag videos, the ones that I thought were the best and the most fitting, and I am just going to ask them to Samuel. He doesn't know what they are, and I just am, this is me all the time, is like knocking into him spilling things or just knocking into myself spilling things. So off to a great start. Also, we have jambalaya simmering on the stove, and we've never made this before, and it smells slightly burnt, so if one of us has to hop up, I guess that's why. Okay, but he hasn't seen these questions, so I'm just gonna ask him. We're gonna have a nice little chat. You ready?
Yeah. You
ready? Okay. Yeah, this one's really hard. What do you do to make money?
You mean that you know about?
What don't I know about?
I'm in a videography and photography production company, so I shoot photos and videos, and when we're having a slow month, I'm a stripper.
He's not a stripper.
Male stripper, anyway.
Just bachelorette parties, you're showing up.
Mm-hmm. It's great because I do a lot of wedding videography, and anyway.
The girl who catches the bouquet, right?
Well, there's that, and then there's also, you know, my clients leading up to the wedding. Sometimes they want to like meet you and get to know you, so that they're comfortable with you on the day of the wedding.
Real comfortable.
Okay.
Okay. Well, anyways, we're actually using one of Samuel's fancy cameras today, so you'll have to let us know. This is like a cinematography or a cinema camera, so you'll have to let us know if you can tell a difference in the quality of video today and on the other days. Thank you for that answer. Samuel, when and where did we meet, and how old were we? Some of these are like more about our relationship.
We met at practice, at speech practice, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, we met in Cary, North Carolina. You would have been 15? I was 14? I think that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember the first day, honestly. Which kind of goes into the next question. Samuel, what was your first impression of me?
I thought you were kind of dumb. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. One of the funniest parts of our story, I guess, is that I thought Samuel was an absolute jerk, because he kind of was. No, not really. Not deep down, just on the surface. I love you. I thought he was a total jerk, and he thought I was an airhead. And we were doing speech and debate, and Samuel was really good at debate. And we repeatedly...
I still am very good at debate.
He still is very good at debate. But we repeatedly ended up going against each other in practice, and he repeatedly beat me, which didn't really help my case. My strengths lied in other areas, but eventually I got better. We'll say that. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Fair.
You qualified at nationals.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's pretty significant.
It was pretty significant.
Yeah.
Thanks, I appreciate that. Okay, well, at what point then did you actually start to like me?
What do you mean?
Like when?
Think you were okay, or like you?
Like me. Like at what point was the first point? Even if you didn't necessarily realize it then.
Probably. I don't really know. I think the first time I was aware of it was like right before you left for college, probably. Like after we had finished, after you were done with debate and everything. I don't think I really like realized it until we weren't around anymore.
Yeah.
And I realized that I missed you a lot. So.
Yeah, I had like 2 years on you. But I feel like you also liked me, then you just didn't necessarily, because you acted like it. You just didn't necessarily realize it because you were in denial. At least for part of the time.
At least for, yeah.
For part of the time. I feel like it was honestly nationals. I was in denial then too, but it was nationals the first time I went. So my junior year.
Really?
I think so. Yeah. But that was just kind of when I realized like, oh, he's kind of cute. Like he's not awful. But remember the whole...
You weren't even on my radar, bro.
Yes, I was. Because that's when you started to like bully me and we started to match. Like bully me affectionately. It was leading up to nationals.
I didn't like you. Like that.
I was on your radar though because you cared. Just saying. Okay. Anyway. So then how long have we been together?
Officially 4 years as of the 19th. So like 6 days ago. Unofficially, we've been an item for like 7 months longer, 7-8 months longer than that. So almost 5 years.
Yeah. Samuel told me that he wanted to marry me 7 months before he asked me to be his girlfriend.
I think I told you I thought I was going to marry you.
You thought you were going to marry me.
And I was correct.
That's correct. You were correct. I'm glad that worked out for us. Okay, wording of this question is technical, I guess, or not, don't take it technically, but when did you know that I was the one? Not in the sense that we believe necessarily there is the one, but in the sense of when did you realize?
When I told you I thought I was going to marry you?
So it was just in that moment?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Okay. But again, that was
well, like, I continued to know it after that.
You continue, but you just realized in that exact moment you told me. That takes balls. Guts, excuse me.
I guess. All I don't know, maybe I really... I don't know. I might have realized before that.
Okay. What was our first road trip?
I feel like this is a trick question.
It's not a trick question. I mean, I had something in mind, but I guess you could look at it 2 different ways.
You mean Yellowstone?
Well, yeah. That was
okay. I just want to make sure you weren't talking about like a tournament or something.
Oh, no.
Okay. Yeah, we went to Yellowstone with my family. In between my freshman and sophomore years of college, like in May, right after freshman year was over, we took a trip with my family to Yellowstone and that area of the country, which is beautiful, for a little over 2 weeks. That was a very good time, also a very stressful time because we were my family of 5 plus her, and it was the first time like we had ever hung out together in such close proximity for that long as a group, and we were in a pop-up camper. So
and it was cold, so
it
wasn't like you could go have like privacy somewhere else and like be okay. And if you did, there were just bison walking by, which was cute, but like it was a really good experience, but I think also just like you said, stressful. And then on the way,
it was a growth experience.
It was a growth experience, yeah, absolutely. And I met his grandmother, and then on the way back, I forgot about that. Yeah, my family has a farm in Tennessee. My parents do, and at the time, my grandmother, who has since passed away, was living there because it's a family property. And so we drove from North Carolina to Tennessee as part of our set of stops. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. But then on our way back, I crashed a skateboard I had just learned. It was like our 1-year anniversary over this trip, and Samuel of dating. Very, very sweetly bought me this nice like a longboard so that we could longboard together. And we stopped in Winston-Salem on our way back home.
Well, wait, so we left early before my family did. I don't remember why.
We were working for AmeriCorps that summer, so we had to get back so that we could.
We had to get back to work for AmeriCorps. So what happened is my family took 2 vehicles to my family's farm, and then we left in one, like the Yukon, the big truck, to drive west. So we took the little truck back early by ourselves and stopped in Winston-Salem to like get coffee, stretch our legs, etc. Anyway.
And part of that was, okay, let's skateboard around a little bit. And Samuel was going down a very big hill, which this isn't his fault. I act like it is sometimes, but I should have known. I was at the point where it's like you're dangerously confident finally. It's like you have your footing and then you get a little bold, and Samuel went down this really big hill and it was in a parking lot, so you had to turn kind of at the bottom of the hill. And anyways, I attempted to follow him and I could not make the turn, and I got speed wobbles and I hit the curb, and I mean, that could be a whole video, just that process. It was definitely a miracle that it was just my collarbone that got broken, but broke that, and Samuel took me to urgent care and got me home and took care of me and made me cookies. And I don't, that's such an oversimplification, but it was very formative in our relationship, I think, because like that was a moment where I realized.
Yeah, I had to call her dad. I was like, hey, guess what? I'm taking Sally to the ER.
That was so scary. I was just scared to tell my parents, like more scared to tell my parents than I was about the fact that I actually got hurt, because I also was not wearing a helmet. Anyways, that's a whole nother story, but that's a big no-no. So anyway. Okay, next question, please. What's your favorite thing about me, babe? This is like non-physical.
Okay.
Okay.
Like favorite trait?
I guess, just in general. Or a trait, or concept.
You're extremely reliable, trustworthy, and reliable. I feel like I can depend on you. That's my favorite thing about you.
Thanks. That's sweet. AKA it means I'm very time bound and stress inducing.
That's not what I mean.
No, I know that's not what he means, but that is kind of the flip side of it, isn't it?
A little bit too type A. On occasion.
On occasion. It's okay.
Often. Anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, do you want me to tell you what I most like about you?
I don't think that's what this video is
That's
about.
not what it's about. Okay, if you want to know that, you just let us know. We'll make a different video. But I was thinking about something today. I'll tell you later off camera. What's your favorite physical feature? Oh my gosh.
Think about my answer.
Okay.
I feel like if I answer honestly, nobody's gonna believe me.
Isn't that what they always say? What is it?
Your face.
My face. It's sweet. You always tell me that though.
I did always tell you that
always
because
tell
it's
me
true.
And even when
But also, I just don't feel like anybody's gonna believe me. So.
No, you're so sweet. I love you. Okay.
I mean, I'm married to a personal trainer, and I'm supposed to like your face is whatever.
You're not too bad to yourself. Okay. What is your favorite thing to do together? I guess I hate like your like
that's like
ultimate,
a very big question.
Your favorite thing. What are your favorite things, maybe plural, or one of your favorite things to do together? Don't even.
I like hiking.
Yes.
Together. Big mountains.
Yeah.
And swimming. In big
Ooh,
bodies of water.
We're living at the beach right now, if you didn't already figure that out. We live in Wilmington, North Carolina, and it's been so nice just as it's getting slightly warm to go.
Slightly warm.
Slightly warm.
The water is still very cold.
But we'll just go for a swim like for an hour in the evenings. We're trying to go about once a week, or we have been going about once a week, and it's dreamy.
Yeah. I don't know, this is probably my two.
Yeah.
And I also like, I mean, not all the time, but I like learning about things together and like praying together, driving around together. I don't know, I just like doing things together. But
yeah,
if I could just have unlimited money, I would probably spend my time traveling to distant places with you and hiking.
Yeah.
That'd probably be it.
Well, we get to do some of that soon, right? Indeed. We've been planning for about a year, an exciting trip, and we're gonna go next month, so keep an eye out. We're taking some of this fancy camera gear and we're gonna make
most of it
actually. But anyways, we're gonna go to Lake Tahoe and through wine country in California to the coast, San Francisco, that whole area, and are excited to share that with y'all. So keep your eye out for that. And my phone locked on me, so I'm just stalling for time now.
How many questions are you? That didn't make any sense.
I just have a few left.
My brain.
Okay.
That was weird.
So 3 more questions. The first one is just, what is your favorite thing that I cook? I love to cook, so I'm doing it all the time.
My very favorite thing? Like my most favorite thing ever?
If you have one, sure.
We eat a lot of different stuff all the time.
We do. What like comes to your mind right now? Anything?
Coconut curry lentils.
I wonder if you would say that. But you always eat so much that your belly hurts.
Yes.
It's
They're full of fiber. There's kale and lentils and.
We'll link the recipe here if you're interested in trying it, but they're really good. He eats so much that, like, for me, it's not any problem because it's just like a normal serving of food. But for him, the amount of just mass that he's putting in his stomach in the pure fiber.
Like 80 grams of fiber in one meal.
But they're very yummy and you should try them. So again, we'll link that recipe here. The next 2 questions, the final 2. A little bit more serious. What did you think was the hardest part of our first year of marriage?
I think I don't know. I mean, there's we've had a great first year of marriage. Let me just preface what I'm about to say.
Yeah.
But I mean, there are a number of things to choose from. Like whenever you get married, there's a lot of growth that happens. Whenever you get married, when you get married, when you get married, there's a lot of growth that happens. I mean, I was still finishing up school, so that. I mean, I don't regret getting married when we did, but I wouldn't recommend that to anybody because I did not find that pleasant at all. Like, working full time, running my own business, plus school full time, plus, I mean, I was in honors, so writing a thesis, researching and writing a thesis, and also being married and like having all the responsibilities that come with that is a lot to handle.
Well, and not just were you working full time, but like, so Samuel runs this multimedia company, and it was the first year that you went full time with that, and
yeah, that's also
like,
true.
it's like starting a business essentially from the ground up.
Yeah.
With everything else going on.
Yeah, so I mean, juggling everything, and I think the biggest thing though is we're both very independent people, and well, we both do, but I really like to have things my way.
Same.
I think the biggest, like the hardest thing was just, and we will continue to learn this for the rest of our lives, but learning to die to ourselves and seek the other person's well-being above your own, because it's really easy to do that when you're dating because you're not with them all the time, and it's like you kind of see them in bursts. It's like, I'm gonna go and die to myself and be sacrificially loving toward you for like 2.5 hours, and I go home and I do whatever I want. But it's like, it's hard to be sacrificially loving when you've gotten up at the crack of dawn and worked hard and are tired and haven't eaten enough and all that, and then you get home and it's like there's more stuff to do. There's a person that expects you to like be emotionally available.
Yeah.
think that's the biggest thing.
That's such a good point. And I think it has to do with just learning to share a space with someone, but also then that marital relationship, as Samuel was saying, of dying to yourself, or laying your own desires down and just acting out that sacrifice. And we didn't live together before we were married, and we had wondered how big of a challenge it would be. I would say honestly it went pretty smoothly, but we went from doing mostly long distance, except for the last few months, to being married and living together, where we were used to, like Samuel was saying, having so much time apart. And it was like you do everything together, and then okay, you'd be apart and you'd breathe. It's just not sustainable to do literally everything together when you're, you know, getting to see each other every day. And so it's just striking that balance between managing our needs for like alone time and together time, and also with everything that was going on, we were honestly just so exhausted. Finding that rhythm of like, okay, there's quality time that goes beyond just sitting and watching a show together. How do we like prioritize that and feel filled up in that sense? So we're really excited for this next year because we said it almost seems like we get another first year of marriage because we just get to soak it in. I mean, it's still gonna be busy and we have a lot of projects, but
I think we were so busy last year that it was hard to enjoy it. Like the honeymoon phase or whatever, like it didn't go away, but it's like there wasn't a whole lot of time to dwell in it because there wasn't a whole lot of time, period. Also, and I mean, you would say, like, you would think like, okay, we got married in May. School didn't start back up until like September, end of August, September. But over the summer, we were extremely busy. Both of my grandmothers who had survived, like my grandfather's passed away sometime previously. Both of my grandmothers passed away last summer and fall. So it was just like we were also spending a lot of time out of town, a lot of time with my family in particular. And then of course, you know, it's like, well, we're spending so much time with my family, we need to spend time with her family to like not just be exclusive or whatever. So all things considered, it was just a very busy time. I think there are pros and cons though, because like in the first year, we have worked out a lot of kinks. So it's kind of like we get the first year of marriage and the honeymoon vibes without some of the problems that we would have if we hadn't already been married for a year.
For sure. So. Yeah, I wouldn't change it for the world, like what we did. I'm so grateful to have been married this past year and done it together, but it's a lot going on, which I think is going to be true of anyone's particular circumstances, just in different ways. Yeah. Okay. Well, then last question, kind of on that note, but looking forwards, what are you most excited for this next year?
Just being able to be free with our time. Like we have responsibilities to take care of, but there's a difference between living a busy life, which is not like, it's nice to have your days that are filled with things that are fulfilling to do. And I think that we're very blessed to have mostly fulfilling things to do with our time. But there's a difference between that and not having space. Like there's a difference between being busy versus not having any margin.
Yeah.
And not having any margin is not good. It's not healthy to live in that space for, I mean, you're gonna have seasons where you're in that space, but it's not healthy to sustain that either for you as individual, like as an individual, or, I mean, it definitely strains your relationship because everybody's burnt out, and then it's a lot easier to, you know, get irritated about stupid stuff when you're living life on the edge, basically.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You just can't be fully present in it. And I just want to say right now, like that's never something we want to glorify, busyness. That's not how we want to live or promote ourselves, essentially. I think we really live in a world, and I know this is off topic, but I feel that it's important to say in the context of this channel as a whole. We live in a world where you encounter a person, okay, how you doing? Oh, I've been busy, and I do it all the time. But we wear that like a badge of honor. Whereas like realistically, our value and our worth, our identity does not come from how busy we are. It just comes from our existence itself and the fact that we are made in the image of God. And just simply being here, sitting on this couch, whether we're talking to you or not, is meaningful, as long as we're giving it back to, I mean, even if we don't realize, I guess, that we're giving it back to our creator, like it is meaningful. And there's that balance of working hard and being efficient and being productive, but also, I love the book, The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry, so I'll use that terminology, like ruthlessly eliminating hurry out of your life. So you have that space and that margin to be and be free and just to live and soak it in.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. Like, the past year I have felt, and it's mostly me, like we've both shared the burden for sure, but I am the one that has had the busyness, mainly because of school, like bearing the burden, needing to work and provide and also do school full-time is, yeah, like that's where it comes from. And I'm excited, I guess, to just feel more like a human being this year, whereas last year I think I felt very much like a machine. And I was very productive. Not as productive as I could have been, or as disciplined, or as like I didn't do an optimal job necessarily, but definitely felt like a robot some days, a lot of days. So I'm excited to feel like a person. Yeah,
it's awesome. I mean, he was absolutely the one who carried so much of that, but I didn't realize how much of a mental load it honestly was, and in part because I work so early in the morning a lot of days, I'll just be really tired, and like lining our schedules up, it was just mentally very but, so it's just crazy. It feels like such a load off. We feel so free and so blessed, and yeah. All right, well, I know we've been talking for a long time, so I'm gonna go ahead and end this video, but before I do that, I just want to say again that I think it's important to bring Samuel on here and just talk about this kind of thing, because number one, I think we'll treasure looking back at it in the years to come, but number two, my vision for this channel from the start is that it would be more than just a place that's about physical wellness, but that it touches on spiritual and relational and emotional and even financial, like all of those aspects of wellness coming into like the center, that holistic wellness and intentional living piece. And yes, I just see this being a really big part of that, and this person's really important to me, and so obviously he should be a part of it too. I am gonna link in the description in case you need a videographer, his website, shameless plug right there. But otherwise, we'll see y'all later. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, bye y'all.